Okay, so Richard,
Yeah.
you are one of our authors for Wrights of Wyoming. You wrote The Measures Taken, Cheyenne, Wyoming for us. One of the questions that I got from one of the cast members who was in the play was that they were wondering, since this is obviously kind of a post-apocalyptic type play, what you're looking at. You mentioned the multiple COVID viruses. You have the background set with the current political campaign and some graffiti on it. Is this something that you see coming in our future? Is this something that you think could be our future, or is it just something that popped into your head one day?
Well, actually, I see it as a possible future. And actually, this play has a little bit of a history. I had actually written it originally for like people hiding out in the woods, and um, but then I rewrote it for this quarantine bake-off. Uh, um, I can't really call it a competition, but it was encouraging all these people to write plays that had to do with the fact of quarantine and to try to adjust ourselves to it. So I rejiggered it to set it in Wyoming, and I was trying to think of a place to have it happen, and I just thought of Cheyenne, but it could be a possible future. And I do think that what I refer to as the Wedico is endemic in our culture right now. In fact, I would say that we live in a Wedicocracy, and that we have to identify it and figure out what to do about it. So, but I do think that it is a potential future that we could have. I don't think it's inevitable. A lot of times, what I will do as a writer is posit something and say, "This is really where we want to go,"
Mm-hmm.
and really what it was more about for me, um, to adjust it to that this COVID reality, as it were, um, to be on the lookout for like crazy.
Right. Absolutely. Unfortunately, we have a lot of crazy going on right now.
Yeah.
Now, you wrote the play so that most of your characters could be very gender ambiguous, except for obviously our Earth Mother. And we ended up with a fully female cast for
I'm
you.
really glad.
Um,
That was
yeah.
one eventuality that I thought of. So, but I, like I said, I don't think that these are really more character types,
Mhm.
and uh, men or women are just as likely to be, like, well, let's play the devil's advocate. Well, let's be like the crazy one. Well, let's be, so I did that on purpose so that it, because I also know the reality. There's a lot more female actors than there are male actors,
Very
and
true.
I would rather see the play done than not. So, if it ends up being an all-female cast, that's totally fine.
Absolutely. Now, of your characters, did you have a favorite while you were writing them?
Um, did I have a favorite? Believe it or not, Sean, the crazy one, is my favorite,
Mhm.
just because Sean's a person of action, at least,
Mhm.
even though they've gone Wedico. And then after that, Vera, I enjoy Vera because she's really very grounded and spiritual, and understanding that sometimes you have to make hard choices. And then the other three, they seem young to me, but they're all earnest and they all care. So they I appreciate where each of them is coming from. Like that they were all ambivalent about having taken the action, but ultimately they were resolved that it had to happen. So, but yeah, the favorite, I guess Sean would still be my favorite of all of those.
Yeah, definitely a favorite of mine as well. Um, Now, where do you see this play going now that you've kind of seen it done as a stage reading? Where would you like to see it go from there?
Well, I was thinking about that, and I feel like that this container is too small for it.
Mm.
Um, this play was inspired by a Brecht play called The Measures Taken.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know if anybody's read it, but the premise is basically the same. Three soldiers return from a mission, and there were four of them that went out, and the captain asks, where is your fourth member? And they say, we had to kill him, and this is why.
Oh,
And
okay.
you just you go back to the beginning of like with the mission, and you see the evolution of it until the death and then the resolution.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm thinking that it might be better for me to like use that as a template and to explore the basically whatever it is that these characters did before, and then why they had to go on this mission to push Sean off the beat.
Off the cliff. Okay. Yeah, we definitely thought that as well. I mean, like as we got a hold of it, and the entire cast is pretty much asked, what could we do it bigger? In fact, almost every play that's gone through this process,
Yeah.
the cast has asked if when can we work with it more? When can we do something bigger? When could
So
it be taken somewhere else?
I hear that the cast members are as intrigued by the concept as I am,
Yes.
and I feel that we live in a time where some kinds of theater are a little more urgent. So this feels like a more
Definitely.
urgent story.
Mm-hmm.
As like I was saying, I've been researching this concept of the Wetico, and from because it's a Native American word, and they're actually somebody told me that in Lakota it's Wachisu, and in
Oh,
Algonquin
okay.
Windigo, and there are other words for it in other languages. Um, and I speculated on a Facebook post recently that in Hebrew I wondered about a certain word, but then my husband Steve said that the Hebrew word for what is closest to what I'm talking about is Rasha.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like something that people have seen, that there's like I kind of think of it as like a mental mutation at the level of like self-concept or something. I'm not really sure, but it's just like somebody one day some people just keel over and they go into this rapacious I gotta uh, kill everything mode, and that's the Indians basically experienced Christopher Columbus this way when
Okay. Okay.
he came to the New World. Of course, he was just an old drunk, but he that alcoholic personality is definitely that's like a liquid Wetico as a matter of fact.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Awesome. So what is next in the Richard world? What are you moving on to after Wrights of Wyoming?
Well, I'm right now marketing a screenplay called Mother Fracker. Uh, it's about a young, naive trans genius who must escape their dominating mother so that they can become the woman and climate scientist they know themselves to be. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, and there's a Wyoming connection to it. I created a Wyoming State University in Swainsburg, Wyoming.
Swainsburg, Wyoming.
Yes, after Louisa Swain, so the first
Okay.
motor, first female.
Yeah.
So I thought,
Yeah.
they'll just make up a town and
Why
second
not?
university, even though Wyoming only has the one. So,
Right.
but yeah, it started out there, but now it actually all takes place mostly at MIT. Um,
Okay.
and, I've been having fun writing it. It's a dramedy. And I have two other scripts that I'm in rewrites for screenplays, and another idea that's a limited series. And of course, one of these days, I want to go back and just write the second part of the last play that I was in, Wrights of Wyoming, worshiping at
Yes.
Traci's altar. I've been I took notes on it right afterwards, and then I got into other things, and I just
Yeah.
it'd be nice to be able to just stretch out and like write, and I'm just not at that place because I have to have a job, I have other commitments. But but right now,
Absolutely.
big focus is on Motherfrecker.
Yeah. Yeah. As director this year, getting play submissions, I was kind of expecting Teotihuacan too,
I
but
know,
yeah.
I really wanted to get to it, but I just haven't. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So if and when it gets written, I definitely want to look at it because I
yeah.
want to see where these go. So,
And I also wanted to build in, like part of me wanted also to wait to see what happened with, because I talked about the inspiration for that was Avengers Infinity War, and
mhm.
I was curious what would happen with Endgame, and my prediction turned out to be right. That
Yes.
the Thanos was just a plot point, and the overpopulation thing was just it was, I think it was really handled poorly. So I would like to somehow address that, but I haven't figured that out yet. So
Gotcha.
that's partly why I think that I'm still like percolating.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, when it percolates, I would love to see it. So,
Okay,
all
got
right.
it.
Well, thank you so very much for participating again this year. We hope you will be back with us
Well,
next year and with
yeah.
many other things with True Troop, of course. So, we
Mhm.
greatly appreciate your contributions.
Very happy to be a part of it.
Awesome.